Yeah. So, it's where everything just like kind of kicks off for you, huh?
Yeah. I got the vinyl, and recreate, record, choose. If I'm on Twitter or Facebook, I'm here. That's where I'm seeing most of the time.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't necessarily introduce you to the worldwide audience, did we?
Yeah. I'm nobody really.
No, you just a super nigga producer is what you are.
I don't know about all that, but sometimes we but yeah. hasHBrown, aka Jett I. Masstyr.
Yeah.
Fresh off of
The Relationship EP.
Fresh off my best work, man. I felt that way before it came out, and before certain, people in the press said, agreed with what I thought about my work, man.
Yeah.
But I felt like I had something special when it was done.
Yeah.
And I listened to it. I felt
Yeah.
like it was like a good thing. So
Yeah. Let's get into Relationship, by the way. I mean, it's short, condensed, but it covers a lot of different topics and a lot of different emotions, man or a woman may go through in a relationship. Was any of that like drawn on from like experiences of your own, or you just looking at your homeboys going through some shit like, man?
There are certain songs that are completely about me.
Slash Jett I Masstyr slash the man who so far has released what many may believe to be the best EP, mixtape, pay for it, whatever you may want to call it, in the city so far. And a lot of it, like you said, it's literally relationship based, right?
It's all, yeah. I mean, that was the idea. Part of me releasing it on Valentine's Day was my disdain for the holiday. I really don't, clearly going through a lot of different relationships, and I really don't like the holiday much.
Right.
I like the reason for it. I appreciate and respect what it was created for, but I just don't like that it's forced. And then it's something that people say, man, you got to do. Like, if you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, it's like, well, I can speak from having a girlfriend. So they say that this has to be a great day, and it's so forced. It's like, it puts a lot of pressure on the dude. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna spend some money,
right?
But it's just, at some point, I just really stopped fucking with it altogether. I was like, I can do this any other day.
Yeah.
So that's kind of part of it too. But I also drew off the experiences from my homeboys. Like, most of the people that I'm around, they either have girlfriends or they don't, or they talk to people, or they've been engaged, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of everything. It's not 100% about me.
Yeah. So since majority of the lyrics like come from you, obviously the production work behind it is built a lot on old 70s and maybe like late 60s like soul samples. So when crafting the EP, did you go through like painstaking nights just to make sure it sounded the way you wanted it to sound?
Well, actually there's only one new beat on there that I had made recently, which is Degree of Difficulty. I made that in February, first couple weeks of February. I made that beat.
Right.
Everything else, that's kind of like my default. Like 60s, 70s soul music is, to me, in my opinion, is the best music that has ever been made. Bar none. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that they talked a great deal about love and relationships and back and forths and stuff like that. So the music was different back then. So it wasn't hard for me to shape it. I just picked beats that I had just sitting around and put them in a certain order and make sure they touched on a certain emotion or a certain chain of events that would take place within a relationship, and put it together.
Like, do you happen to have like a favorite track that you personally like just tell yourself like, I actually did this shit, and it just resonates with you? Like, if somebody were to say, I need to make a best of hasHBrown mix, and I need all Jennifer.
I would say Forgive Me Not and and if loving you is wrong. Really loving you is wrong. I feel like that's a 10. I don't care what anyone says about this song. I think it's from the beat to the lyrics to the hook. It's like it's one of my best songs I've ever done. I think.
Yeah, because you've been like in a creative like zone, whereas you call since you are a Jedi in this sort of zen like place where like as soon as you may hear a sample, you just want to just be like, okay, I know exactly how I want to manipulate it and put it out there to the public.
Yeah, it was. That's typically how everything comes together. I listen to the entire record, or I listen to the entire song, and try to. I have an idea before I start doing something with it. I think it comes more natural that way.
Yeah. So that's the case. What exactly are the tools of a Jedi per se? If he's wanting to put together, like, say for example, what exactly did you use to create Relationship? And do you have any of this with you?
I used I used Fruity Loops Studio 9. Producer edition. I'll pull it up, but yeah, this is how it looks when I use it. I know a lot of people that use Fruity Loops, and you can use it different ways. You know, I utilize the waveform of it because so I can see things, so I can see it. And then sometimes I chop up using a sampler where I play off a field. But 9 times out of 10, I want to pull in the sample. I want to see the sounds so I can really be interactive with it. But that's pretty much it. I'll drag a sample in there and let the song play. Try to find loop points if it feels like it should just be something that needs to be looped, or if there's things that are like popping out here and there, then it tells me I need to chop it. You know? And then I have a pretty extensive drum library. I always look for new drums. These are just folders of drum samples and loops and stuff like that. And then I try to match that with the drums. Sometimes the drums come first, sometimes the sample comes first. And then it'd either be about making a new bass line, or what I like to do, something I learned from Pete Rock, or seeing a video of him making a beat, him and Ski Beats. Resampling the same sample, but then filtering out the bass, so it keeps the natural bass of the actual song that you sample. That's something that I use quite a lot. It's actually something I showed DJ Don.
Shout out to DJ Don, by the way.
Shout out to my soul brother.
Yeah. So essentially, I think every rapper has that top 5. Like, man, I want to work with these guys when it comes to like producing. So, as a producer, if you were to like co-collaborate with any 5 producers
to make a beat,
to make one beat, like make one super beat, like just say I want, like let's just say this for example, like say I want, instead of Kanye soul sampling, this is no disrespect to Kanye or anything like that, like I want Just Blaze raining in the soul sample, I want Dr. Dre on the drums, I want Pete Rock.
You want me to? All right,
make a Frankenstein of a beat.
Frankenstein beat. I would need DJ Premier scratching. I would want Dilla drums and bass, because his drums would hit hard, and then they would have a swing factor to it that's not square. You know, a lot of producers talk about like beat sounding square, music sounding square, where everything's on the line. So like if you listen to what we're listening to, like soul samples and music in general, there's a real drummer, so it's not perfect. Yeah. You know, so I would say he had the most perfect imperfect drums. And his bass lines were like dumb, like stupid. I would actually lean towards a Ninth and Just having samples. A lot of things I think is missing out of the game is like old like break beats and Public Enemy type samples, but they sample like 8 songs to make one beat. Yeah. So I would have them kind of like maybe flip 2 different samples on the same beat or something like that. But that's pretty much it. You know, Primo, Dilla, Just Blaze, and Mike Wonder to make a super beat. I think that would be really interesting.
Like, I believe those 4 right there would be just. I'd probably just like have to just like sit back and have to be neutered, because that beat would just be just too much. It would be too much. Yeah. And to have your own personal input on it would just be like, I kind of put all this shit together. Yeah. And it just came out to be just the most.
Yeah, that would, I mean, if I could construct a dream team to make one beat, I think that